I stayed in the city, one because City College is actually a very underrated school. Like, people don't view it as what it actually is because it's labeled as a CUNY, but it's actually like in the top 50 in the nation, like one of the best engineering programs in the nation as well. And it's like also very affordable. Like, I'm not paying $1, and actually I'm actually getting paid to go to college. So it's like I'm saving money and I'm getting education that I could probably get in an Ivy League school, but people just ignore it because it has like CUNY in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. I wanted to go away from college. I really wanted to like just be far away to kind of gain a new experience, to be around new surroundings. But I ended up going to Fordham College, like 20 minutes away. But you know, in the end, I really liked it. I wouldn't now, after spending my first semester there, I wouldn't want to be in any other college. It really is just like, you know, I passed Fordham University every day, like when I was going here. So that's kind of one of the reasons I didn't want to go. But it's like you entered just like an entire different world, just like separate from Fordham Road and everything else that's out there. So don't be afraid to go to college. That's here.
Yeah, I lasted a couple of seasons, and I couldn't stay here. I refused. I just didn't want to be in the city. I was so stubborn. But then I left, and now I'm like stressed because first of all, my college is like top 10 most expensive colleges in the nation. Like it's like $60,000. I don't have the money. It's crazy. But and like I don't know, like going away is so difficult for me because like first of all, I really like clothes. I really like that kind of stuff. That's serious. Like, and to pack your stuff for winter break, I need 3 suitcases. No, that's serious. Both bus charges $25 extra per suitcase. Plus the bus ticket, that's a lot of money just in traveling. You know what I'm saying? And then like being so far away from home, it's like it's stressful. And like my friends at school are rich. I'm not talking about like, oh, like New York City, oh, we fake rich, like, oh, I know. Like, my friends drive BMWs, they have mad money, and it's just like, oh, dad, like, like the money is really like, you really see like the differences and like that kind of stuff. Like my friend, like when we go out and it's like, oh, like where you want to go tonight, Marissa? I'm like, to the. I'm sure I thought about like the money and like that kind of stuff before I left because like it's not.
Mine wasn't that smooth. Like it started good, and then like I started getting used to my campus and the people around it, so I started like hanging out more. And then it got to a point that I wasn't managing my time correctly. So it's like, yeah, the work is harder, and they give you more work in college, but then you have a lot more time to do it. So it's actually sort of easier to do it in college, but you just gotta know how to manage your time. If you're like the type of person that likes to coast and do everything last minute, then you're going to struggle a lot in college and you're just going to waste your money. So it's like, you need to stay on top of your stuff or else the stuff is going to stay on top of you.
Especially being so involved in Bronx Prep, like most of you may be, you're kind of used to like teachers, talking to teachers about things, maybe getting extensions and stuff, but you go there and there is none of that. And so when I first went there, I had taken AP English and AP, both AP Englishes, and as a communications major, I thought I was like, oh, I'm in, but English turned out to be my hardest subject, and I had to use the Learning Center. But I think Bronx Prep also taught me to make relationships with teachers, even if it wasn't going to do me favors, because that ended up helping me because I went to their office hours, and she knew exactly what I was struggling with, and so from midterms where I had a C in English to finals when I got an A. So.
Anyone can pretty much answer this, maybe the people that haven't spoken yet. I know a lot of you probably took AP classes, yes? And I know a lot of us would like to know how those AP classes maybe helped you in college, like did you see a relationship with them? Because I know there are a lot of seniors here that take that, maybe some juniors will be like motivated to take them next year.
I take them.
Yeah, for sure.
It actually helped me because I didn't have to start from the bottom. I actually went to the higher English I was supposed to be in because of the AP classes. And also my other classes that I took, and it's also classes that I don't have to take because I took AP classes here at Bronx Prep. So it actually helped me a lot. Even if the scores of the AP exam is not okay or you didn't pass, as long as you took the class and passed the class, you actually have a higher advantage at school and the classes you pick.
Anyone else? Okay, so I didn't take an AP class when I was in Bronx Prep, but I'm in a CUNY school, so the English regions helped me be able to be in a writing intensive course in college. which was hard because all you're doing is basically reading books and then writing all the time. So I felt in high school I was a good writer, but when you go to college, you learn that your writing might not be as good as you thought it was. It's a total different perspective. So I spent a lot of time in the library and then office hours with my teachers. But even if you're going to an away school or a community school, if you take an AP English class or the English regions, it helps you go to a higher level of English once you start college. So it does help a lot.
Do you pick the major that you know you'll be successful in, or the one that you know you love? Like, and how do you even make that decision? Because I know financial is a big issue when you're going to college.
Honestly, as an African who didn't go into the health field or a lawyer, like I can tell you, like it is a struggle. I did well in school. I would cry for B's. Like I was the A. Like I'm amazing in English. I'm so good at math. But it's like I don't want to do something in the health field. I don't even like blood. I don't want to do that. And I don't want to be a lawyer because they're mean, and I'm not mean like that. So it's like, when I decided that I wanted to do communications, it took so long to convince like my parents and to convince people like, no, I don't want to do I don't want to be a doctor. Why don't you want to be a doctor? You don't want a job. So I feel like do what you want, but for me, when I chose to do communications, media studies, I did so much research before I even announced that to people. Like, make sure, I had to tell my parents, I looked it up, this is expected to grow in this time, by the time I graduate, this is what I expect to go to. I chose this school because the communications department is really good. 92% of the graduates go into the field that they want, and I feel like I will flourish and I will do well in it. And when you go there, when you do a major like that you know people are against you for, not against you, but are saying why you're doing it, you have to make sure to work your butt off. Like, the first 2 weeks of college, of course everybody wants to have fun, but I had to learn to be like, no. I have to prove to people that I'm just as smart as you are, even if I'm not doing the health field. And I have to be even more successful because people are like, what are you doing? You don't expect the job, you don't want to graduate. And I'm like, so if you want to do it, either do what you know you will get a job in, or you will be happy, or do what you will be happy in, but make sure to work your butt off and make sure you have all the information that you have to be successful after you graduate with that major.
I was a freshman in high school until senior year. My major was nursing. I wanted to do nursing, but my senior year, I realized that you need to be really strong in math and science, and that was my worst subject throughout high school. So instead of putting pressure on me, like you could take the chance and actually put in time in the library and stuff, but I knew I wasn't going to do that, so I didn't waste my time. So I looked at another alternative, which was social work. So now I'm doing human services, but I'm going to change it again to liberal arts because I realized that sitting with my college advisor, she said that the credits that I have under human services at the MCT won't transfer into LEAM, it won't transfer into City College, any college that I want to go to. So stuff like that, you just have to be careful. Just like, I won't say change it all the time, but know that like, once you make up your mind to do research on it, to know that something's going to stick with you, you change it all the time.
Yeah, also like if you decide to change, like I know like to get into some colleges, you get into like a certain program. And it's like, for example, me, I was contemplating on either changing from engineering to like, I wanted to teach, right? I was thinking of teaching, but then I was talking to my advisor and we were just talking and we were just sitting there. And then she was telling me like if I change out of the engineering program, which is really hard to get into, it's not going to be easy to get back in. So if you get into like a certain program within the school, like ask them if it's hard to get back in, just in case if you change your mind back to go to the same major you were in. And if it is hard to get in, ask for like advice from your college advisors. Like, should you stick with it for like another year so you can make up your mind for sure? Like, don't make rash decisions, but like actually think them through because like one choice can like change a lot.
Yeah. I thought they were liberal arts college until they like push you to do like everything. And so my freshman year, like our theme was Dare to be Undeclared. And so like they make us take a frontiers class, which is like my first semester freshman year, and like we take whatever we want. So throughout my entire life, till kindergarten, I wanted to do political science, and that's just like politics and that kind of stuff. And then my frontiers class freshman year, I took an education course, and I was like, oh, I love education, or I want to do that, like education reform. And so now like I'm a double major, poli-sci and education, and like it is like a lot of stress, and like the books are really expensive, but like that's what I'm gonna do. And now like I have a job, so like so 4 years out of my bachelor's degree, I'll still be doing my graduate degree, but I'll be able to teach in Baltimore City. So I'll be having money and going to school. And so like, I think the important part is to think about like, okay, I have to pay for college. Like, how am I going to be able to pay for this? So I have to get a job with my degree that I'm going to obtain. So like, getting a job with the major you decide to do is really important.
Like what Christopher said, in my situation, all my life I wanted to major in zoology, and I got into my school undeclared, and so I had to speak to the head of the biology department because it was difficult for me to get into my program. So basically she told me all the classes, all the courses I had to take in order to get into the program with a certain GPA. So I had to work harder to get a certain GPA and pass all my classes with a certain grade in order to get into the program. And I'm still not the major I want to be yet because I have to go in. But being undeclared and taking all these different classes made me think and made me want to double major in 2 different things, which might be cinema and screen studies.
I think it's important to know that like, if you're into your top choice, it's okay. Like, I didn't get into my top choice school, but like the school I go to now is the right fit for me. So like, and also like, 4 years for the bachelor's degree is like oftentimes not going to be the last school you're going to see. Like I have to go to grad school, and that's going to take another like extra. So like, don't think about it. Oh, like it's the worst. I got to get into my top choice. Like it's okay. Like you still have more school to go. Well, I still have more school to go, so it's going to be okay.
So, for anyone who wasn't eligible for EOP, did you say it's harder to do things than it was for people who are EOP eligible?
Like when you go, I mean, like I go to where I go to school at, like they don't have that. They don't have any of those kinds of like programs where you get money for that. So like when I went, like before I got in, like you do the packages or whatever. I'm sure you guys are like starting to figure that out. And like my package showed me financial aid and then scholarship money and then like other money I got. And so like you really have to see, like my school, thank God, gave me so much money, and like I'm really thankful for that. But like other it's expensive. Like college is expensive, it's getting more expensive, and like just now my school just increased the tuition. Like y'all already top 10, most expensive, and you want to increase your tuition. Like it really is expensive. You have to like really think about like how much it's gonna cost.
It's so expensive, and I know like over here, like right now being flashy with your name brand is cool, but when you go there, like she said, they're wealthy. They don't care about your genes because they're driving cars and you're taking the bus. So like, and I know honestly, like last year, to tell you the truth, I was so stressed because like almost all my life, I was a nerd, and since Bronx Prep, every single summer was spent doing a program, looking for scholarships, and then when the time came, it was so daunting to not see your efforts being like produced, where I wasn't getting the scholarships I needed, where the schools weren't giving me enough money. So I would say like look for scholarships now. It's never too early to start, and keep doing the programs you're doing, and especially whatever school you want to go to. When it comes down to financial aid, like at first I was like always in tears, like they're not giving me money, and I worked so hard literally every single summer, every single year for this. Like my A's compared to people's B's, and they're getting full grades, and my A's and I'm only getting half. But like work with your college counselors, because I know Ms. Montano and me were always on the phone, calling my school, and they ended up raising the scholarship more and more and more, where now is like a really good financial aid that I have now that me and my family are comfortable with. So I would say work on the scholarships, work on your programs, and keep in contact with your schools and your college counselors, because they will help you. Amen.
Well, to build on to what Melanie was saying, to be honest with you, I didn't work on scholarships like that, and when I did, it wasn't often. So start early, get involved as much as possible, because the more involved you're in, the better it is. Because you think about it, I applied to Ithaca one year, and the reason why I got in was because of me doing piano for 7 years. So just doing something as the artist, doing the art, speech, and everything, that little thing can actually get you somewhere pretty big and pretty fast.
I think you should definitely make sure it's all right with your parents with what you're paying. For my particular situation, I can't afford to go back this semester. So, I mean, you really need to make sure that it's something you can do and make sure your options are the right options for you.
As seniors and juniors of the Bronx Prep, what ways or what do you guys think that are like the best paths to get, let's say like scholarships, or like what ways should we go about in order to be able to be financially supported when we do go to college?
There's so much money out there that we just don't know because we don't go and find it. Like if you actually put the effort to do that, instead of like going on Facebook or Instagram, like you might find some money.
My friends don't see me as the big black girl until like it comes up, but like that's a joke. But like the campus isn't like, I'm usually like one or two black people in the class, but.
I agree. I see every point she's coming from. It is a white school. Oh, okay. So they do this like involvement fair. You know, all the clubs and organizations on campus, and out of nowhere, one of the girls from, I think it was from BSU, like pulled me out the crowd and was like, "Hey, you're black, right?"
I just think it's what you decide to go into. Like, I went to a lot of organization, BSU, Caribbean, where you get to meet people like you, and if you decide to stay with them, you get really close. Like, you just decide who you want to actually change yourself. So it wasn't that bad.
How's the social life in college?
I have no social life. When I come back to the city, I'll be so happy. When I see them, like, I'm just all hugs.
Like you want to fit in and you want to like have fun, but like you have to be safe, and like that's like number one. Like you have to be safe, and like that's like number one. Like you have to be safe, and like that's like number one.